Good evening. I left some copies at your desk there, at your station. In those copies are the handbook revisions for the academic handbook for next year for Montgomery High School, as well as a copy of the current academic handbook. So the changes are given in reference to the book. So if you need to look at a page and say, what are you changing on this page and such, they run chronologically throughout the book. I'll hit a couple highlights in terms of our academic changes for next year. One of the things that we're going to highlight and show more awareness of is our dual enrollment opportunities for high school students. Many of you are familiar that we've run a dual enrollment agreement with Community College of Allegheny County, Washington and Jefferson, some other schools, California University at one time, that enable high school students to get both credit, advanced credit at a college, institution, college or university, sort of to get those introductory credits in at a good price and get high school credit simultaneously. And they can take them in the summertime as long as you're a junior or senior. In these agreements, you can take them simultaneously. You could take them online. You could take them at a site. And we have a whole list of courses that enable them to do that. So we're going to highlight, we've been running dual enrollment for a long time, and we're going to continue to highlight that as it becomes a more affordable option for students as they transition to college and universities. For some who want to get ahead on credits because their senior year, they want to participate in a co-op or a job shadowing type of opportunity, or just get a part-time job and have their credits ahead and work a little bit ahead, you can have that opportunity. The idea here is flexibility and give them multiple means and allowing senior year to feel a little bit different and allowing them the options, like I said, to work ahead or to take on different types of responsibilities that could affect their scheduling as high school seniors. So once again, there's some GPA requirements and things like that that fall along with this, but it's been a pretty successful program for the students who have utilized it. Some have utilized it for credit recovery as well. Maybe a student came back from cyber and they were one credit behind because of their year at cyber school, so it enables them to catch up as well. So it's a great opportunity. It's a very cost-effective opportunity. So we're going to highlight that as well. Another addition we're going to add is we have some classes that are going to qualify for the University of Pittsburgh in the high school program. Right now, our AP Statistics class has met approval with the University of Pittsburgh to have simultaneous credit here as a course and at Pitt. So this is sort of the same thing, but the credits that you would get through dual enrollment at CCAC, they're widely transferable to any school. And that's a very important fact because kids don't always know where they're going to go to school at that time. So having that flexibility. In Pitt, they know that they're just transferable to Pitt. It says you take this class, you get a B or higher in it, then we'll give you the 3 credits at the University of Pittsburgh or any of our branches. So making students more aware of those types of things that are running. At this time last year, the high school, Pitt in high school wasn't fully approved yet. It's been fully approved since, so we're going to put it in there and highlight it. Another thing on page 8, or just if you take a look at this document, I always sort of format it that red, anything in red are edits, anything in green are additions, and anything in black are deletions. So I sort of use that as a sort of a key when I'm presenting these each year. I'm changing some of the languages of the academic required for graduation. As you know, the state has changed the requirements for graduations. Last year it was the class of 2017 needed to pass all the Keystones. Then it was the class of 2019. Now they've kicked it down the road to the class of 2020. And they've changed some of the requirements that they were looking at doing that. So that's sort of a continual change that goes through the legislature. There's all kinds of talks about these Keystone exams and how they're going to impact graduation, whether they're going to be a graduation requirement, whether they're going to be abolished. It changes. It seems like every summer that the legislature comes through it. But one thing we know that they will not be working on project-based assessments, which were a series of online modules that students had to complete that replicated the rigor of the Keystone exams. That ended up being something that they invested very heavily in and did not they found out that that's something a direction they do not want to go, and they have since deleted that. So I took the language about project-based assessments out of that, since we know that won't be the case. But right now, the class of 2020 is the class that faces the Keystones. So that continually changes. Seems to have continually changed. On page 9, we have some deletions of some older courses. If you look on page 9, it shows all the elective courses that fulfill both our information systems and our arts and humanity credits. So this just reflects some of the changes that I'm going to go to later off of the list that's up front. Students have to take one information systems elective course and one arts and humanities elective course, one credit, a minimum one credit throughout their 4 years of high school. This is a page that says what those classes are and what category they fall into. So when kids saying, well, I need one of these credits, he has the full list or she has the full list of classes. But there are some deletions because we are making some changes to the handbook. Are there any questions so far? All right, going on to the second page of the changes here. One of the new additions next year that we're going to bring online is in our art program and our art curriculum. Mrs. Urbanik has done a great job of retooling our art education department. Over the last 3 years, she has really changed the whole course structure, and those have become much more popular course offerings and much more popularly scheduled by the students. We're going to introduce a new class, Advanced Placement Art, Studio Art Drawing is a class, another advanced placement class for students. There are some prerequisites, the Intro to Drawing class that typically would be taking their 9th grade year, and the two-dimensional design. Those are sort of the skills that they'll need in order to take that advanced coursework for that drawing. So I think I'm very excited about that. We have a sizable portion of our student body who's interested in art and that type of artistic expression. And I think it's important that they have those type of advanced course offerings as well so that they can develop those skills. That involves everything from, it's not just drawing, but it's graphic design, all kinds of things that are run through that AP coursework. That, of course, they can get advanced college credit for their performance in that as well. So AP Art, Studio Art Draw is a new course for next year. The next one is the music curriculum. We're doing some changes in there. The first two, we alternate guitar and piano each year. One year we offer guitar, the next year we offer piano in our labs there. So next year it becomes the piano's year, and the guitars go off for a year. So those are on a rotating basis. We also have some courses that have really haven't run over the last 4 or 5 years. Music theory, music appreciation, music technology. Those are classes that haven't had enough students to want to take those in their schedule. So I was working with Mr. Harold this year, and he was going to add 2 new courses to replace them. One is going to be a jazz studies, which he's very excited about. He feels he's going to have a very strong cohort of students who are interested in jazz and that genre of music. And the piano and music theory class is sort of a combination of teaching a set of skills that can be sort of exchanged for one another during the same class period. Okay, so those are 2 new. Those are on this page are 3 new classes that are coming online for next year. The last changes at the bottom of that page are Family Consumer Science. Intro to Family Consumer Science is a class that we haven't run in, I'm going to say, at least 5 or 6 years. And really the middle school Family Consumer Science program meets the needs of those students. So there's no need for them to take that in high school. And the Creative Sewing class hasn't run, I'm going to say, in 7 years. So we thought it was an opportunity for us to maybe take a look at some future course offerings and to remove some existing ones. And that's just based on student interest and the number of students who wish to take that class. The last page of the changes are in engineering technology. These are classes that are on a rotation. Some years this class comes on, some years that class goes off. So these are really sectioned out. If you remember last year, we retooled technology education, engineering technology, whatever you want to call it, but we retooled the whole thing in terms of our CTC applied engineering curriculum, and I told you it's less about teaching skills in isolation and more about making them part of a system. And that these are the courses that all fall in line with the students who this year took the intro classes, and the level 1 and 2 classes now have access to the 3 and 4, so those come online. And the last change here is in our agricultural education department. We're going to offer a new SIP code next year, which is horticulture, is going to be available to our students, as well as general agriculture and agricultural mechanics. So we're going to add a third component to the two existing. Adding this component will not necessitate in the first year of adding a new course to it. So we will add that SIP code and for our students, and we will add another class. Mrs. Scambruzzi is very excited about advanced veterinary science. We have a veterinary science now. It's one of course now. It's one of our most popular courses down there, and she feels that there's a very strong desire in our students to take that to more complex and more hands-on application and more advanced coursework in that. A lot of students are interested in vet science, so this builds on their desire and their interest. And then the remaining ones down there, there's a new course description for senior ag leadership, and the other ones necessitate the changes. Those are once again classes that this year this one comes online, that one goes off. Equine science comes online. Those of you who have been on the board for a while know that we run those on a rotation. So those reflect those changes next year for our programs. But I'm very excited about these changes. I think that we're adding the coursework and updating our coursework to reflect what the students are interested in doing and providing them the flexibility, because I think flexibility, especially senior year, is something that students want. So unless you're giving them those alternatives, they have other options. So making sure that you stay true to your academic mission, stay true to your standards, and giving that flexibility is like a win-win. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you.
Mr. Bowes, do you want to mention or summarize the Range Resources grant that's also coming out of committee?
I can't. Let me grab some. Also on the board agenda is a $5,000 grant that we've accepted on behalf, or plan to accept with your permission, to participate in the Range Resources Educational Partnership Program. Range Resources reached out to several local school districts, I think us and about 5 others, and they want to fund an opportunity for students to learn more about skills related to the workforce, business and industry, the environment, and energy. So they offered us a $5,000 grant if we could put together some ideas about what ways could we highlight these interests in industry fields and career fields for students. Could we come up with some activities that would do that? So I've been working with, and this is a 6 through 12 grant. I've been working with Mr. Wilson and the high school and middle school guidance counselors, the business department, the vocational agriculture department, and the science department to take a look at providing some options to spend these funds to give our students these types of experiences. And we've come up with some ideas. One of the things that we're going to do is 6 through 12 is going to have a career day that's going to be, I think, a big event that a lot of industries, they want to come into schools and they want to highlight those. So we're going to do a career day. We have field trips based out of the agricultural ag ed department, business career field trips to EQT, Milan headquarters down in South Point. We're also bringing in a science lab on wheels, like an 18-wheeler that they come in from the University of Pittsburgh and take the students through simulated science activities. I think you have to be able to have clearance for, tell me, you said I had to have clearance for 80 feet for this thing to get clearance to come through. So I think we'll be able to squeeze it up here on campus. But it becomes a walk-through lab for those activities, and the middle school's working on also additional opportunities for their students. So we're putting things down on paper that we think can give our students these types of experiences. Also, our Envirothon group that is run by Mr. Rigger, is very excited about the possibility of giving opportunities to enrich some of his environmental studies classes in that activity that we do for that team. So it's something that we're going to do this spring, and I can come back to you and tell you how all those things worked out and or invite you to those things. But we're excited about partnering with Range, and we're excited about providing more access and more opportunities to our students, especially in the science and industry fields, and finding those businesses that are willing to partner with us. I mean, it's almost impossible to take 300 kids down through Range Resources headquarters to do these types of things, but we always know that they're very welcoming to us. Our business students have gone down in the past. EQT, Consol, Milan have been good partners, and we have a lot of McGuffey graduates who work down in South Point who really take care of us whenever we come down there, and they're good to us and they're good to our students in terms of those opportunities. So I'd like to come back and give you some more feedback on this as we get these dates and details more concrete.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Mrs. Sullivan, back to the rest of the agenda.
First, the agenda is mine. I handed out everybody just a one-page sheet of paper. If you remember, we have to do a request for proposal if we want to keep a food service management company. This is the timeline that we intend to follow, so that in the event that we don't get any bids, we have time to do something for the next year. But I do have that put together, and that's just informational. The second piece that I have that's informational is we have two municipalities that do not have tax collectors. Blaine Township did not, their tax collector did not accept, and East Finley Town tax collector did not accept the positions. So right now, I'm working with the townships and municipalities to figure out what we're going to do. They are supposed to get back to me in February, and one of the options is to go to a service like we have had in the event that we don't get a person to be the tax collector. So I will get back to you on what we find out in February. I've spoken with both secretaries at both municipalities. We're trying to work together so that we can come up with a plan for the district. The last thing I have is the budget, the preliminary budget's on the agenda. This is a preliminary budget that is on there just for the purposes of allowing us to apply for exceptions. So if you adopt this budget, this will give us the ability to fill out the paperwork for Harrisburg, for them to tell us whether or not we're even eligible for exceptions. Then the next budget will also be a preliminary budget. We're required to do another preliminary budget, which we would hope to do in April, and then our regular budget would be in June. And during that time, we've already scheduled, the principals have their budgets together. We're starting our normal budget process. But this will give us the ability to at least apply to the state to see if we're eligible for exceptions. Thank you.
That concludes.
Actually, I had one question, maybe. You said it was East Finley and Blaine, or was it Buffalo? Which one? Blaine. Because everybody that has grown up here, I mean, it was always Blaine, Buffalo, and East West Finley. Have we looked at the option of maybe whoever's in West Finley, and it can consolidate with East, and Blaine was Buffalo? I don't know what the law would allow on that.
Right now, what we've done is I've talked with the secretaries and like the townships, because the tax collectors are housed out of the township offices. So I'm working with the secretaries to see what direction, because their taxes are coming up first, because their taxes will go out earlier than ours. And one of the things that they've been looking, each tax collector has a deputy, and in some cases that deputy is signed on to do that in the past. I don't know that anybody wanted to do it long-term though, so they're working on that. We will get a plan back for you. I just wanted to let everybody know we did not do two municipalities there. The deputies right now are assuming the duties until we figure out what direction. I do not know that off the top. I can get that for you. I'll get those numbers.
Is the tax collector in a different municipality able to collect taxes in another municipality legally?
No, we had that with, Carol did it for,
Green Hills and
Green
South
Hills
Franklin.
and South Franklin.
Chief does it for both.
I know that in my prior position, I was technically the tax collector for my trial, and then we had an agreement to deputize somebody to do the actual tax collection because they did not. And through that research, you do not have to be a resident of the community to be the tax collector, but you have to appoint. If, let's say you were to do a service like Jordan Tax Service, Eastern Tax Service, Berkheimer, they all collect real estate taxes. You would appoint a tax collector, would it, you would appoint, say you would appoint me, and then you would deputize that company to provide the service. But that's just one option.
Any other questions on that? Okay, committee's over, we're gonna, start the meeting at 5 after 7. 5 minutes. It's 5 after 7.